rishi who was found when Alexander the Great came to India. So when Alexander came to India, he was very fascinated with the philosophy of Indians. So he met one very ill-clad sadhu, and sitting under the tree and eating only the fruits and whatever available in the forest. So he met him, and when he talked to him, he found this man has got so much of knowledge. Then he said, how do you gain so much of knowledge sitting in this forest? And then he was very fascinated with him. And then after about a year or so, when Alexander the Great was wanting to go back, so he approached this rishi. And he was in full uniform like the king. And he was called emperor. And then he went to that sadhu and told him, I am really appreciating of your knowledge, vast knowledge, and your knowledge is very useful for our country. So why don't you come? Then the rishi said, you see, I don't think of going anywhere because I came here at my young age under this tree and I am all living, and then till my body last I will live here. That's what my thinking. But then suddenly you are telling that I have to go to your country, which is very far, far away. From there to Mesopotamia, I see, he has to come. Then he said, look, then the king thought he is refusing to come because he may think that there also is a forest and he will be kept in forest. So just to entice him, he said, you see, our country is very, very well established country and we have got palaces everywhere. I will give you one palace to stay on. Then this rishi said, I don't want any palace or anything. I am very happy here. Then he said, I will give you damsels to serve you. I will give you this thing, that thing, like that. He started one by one telling. Big list he gave. And the rishi said, no, I am not going anywhere. I am happy here, I am just staying here. Then the king's ego was hurt. So he drew his sword from the sheath. Said, do you remember with whom you are talking? I am ordering you now as a king. Come with me. He said, no. Then, because he has drawn the sword and he is going to hit him, and then he comes and tells you, if I want, I can cut you to pieces. The moment he said, cut you to pieces, the rishi started laughing loudly. Ha 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 ha. So much loudly he laughed. Alexander's hand shivered and then the sword fell down on the floor. And he asked Rishi, I am going to kill you and you are laughing at it. What's the matter? He said, because in your whole life so far, you have not said a lie like this. Then Alexander got upset. So what is that? Did I tell any lie here? He said, yes, you said you will kill me. You cannot kill me. You can cut my body to pieces. But that me, that I am who I am, you can never kill it. Because it is deathless. And that is called Atman. So because he has realized his self, true self, so the true self never disintegrates. Even though the body became decrypt. The body may be in worst condition. But the true Atman within that body is always pure and always strong and always will remain. Only the body will change. So the Atman remains same. So when this knowledge he gave to that Alexander left him there. And he came back. And while coming back, he used to tell this story to these others everywhere, and that's how it was recorded. And Swami Vivekananda has read it. So he told this. So the point is that body may change. Even we all know about how the body changes. When we are baby, we have seen our stage, and then young, then adult, then middle age, then old. Now I am old. So like that, the body is changing. I can clearly see how the body is changing. But inside the body, there is something living. And that living, that I, what we say, I, that I has got the I has got a reflection. And the original I is standing, the reflection is here. And the reflection is what we are all holding to as true. But once we know that reflection is nothing to be held on, then the original I only remains. And that is called Atman. So that's a very beautiful word. That word cannot be translated into English, because there is no English equivalent to that. You can explain it as indestructible, as permanent, as not changing, etc. By those explanations you can say, but there is no equivalent word for the word Atman in any language.
What about soul, Swamiji?
Soul is not Atman.
Okay.
Soul is this body, physical body. We have got three bodies, The Vedas say we have got three bodies. One body is very visible to all the five organs. What are the five organs we have? One, the eyes. Through eyes you can see.
Hear,
ears
smell,
are there to
taste.
hear, and nose to smell, and mouth to taste, and skin to touch. So these are the five organs, and through the five organs you can experience something, and that is called physical body. But there is a mental body you have inside, and that mental body cannot be seen, cannot be touched, cannot be smelled. And that mental body consists of, according to Vedanta, Chitta, Buddhi, Manas, Ahankara. So Manas, Chitta, Buddhi, Ahankara, 4 items. Along with the 4 items, 5 pranas are there. Prana means the life force that comes. We are taking the wind, inside, and then when the air goes inside, it fills the lungs, and then it comes out also. The same air goes, and it goes as a pure air, and they purify the lungs and take away all the carbon dioxide, and it goes out. So when you exhale, the carbon dioxide goes out. When you inhale, the oxygen goes inside. So in that way, that is the power to move this air is called prana. That is the Shakti. So this prana should be added along with mind and intellect and mind stuff, as it's called. In English, they translate chitta as the mind stuff. What do they mean? I can't understand. But in English, they translate as a mind stuff. And manas also they call it mind. Because in English, the different terminology is lacking, so it is not there. So manas means, they say, that which is thinking of thoughts. So you got one thought. You are sitting here. May not be you are here mentally. Physically you are here. But mentally you may be thinking of something else, some other place, some other people, some other subject. Your mind may be going on. I have seen some people sitting in the class, and they close their eyes and they doze off. Why? Because the mind has gone now, it is withdrawn from there. But the body is there, physical body is there, okay. So all the thoughts are arising in our mind, and that is called manas. And where these thoughts are staying, they must have some container. So if you say the rice grains are there, the rice grains must stay in a container, and that container is called chitta, which is translated into English as mind stuff. But I don't think mind stuff does give the impression of a container, but chitta is a container. So in the container, manas is there, where the mind, the thoughts are there. So 10 flowers, 10 stems, flowers you catch together. So they are all, each strand of flower is called one thought, and you have held it together, and that is called chitta. And then you got another faculty, mental faculty, which is called buddhi or intellect. In English we translate intellect. So what is intellect? The intellect is, Vedanta says, intellect is the deciding factor of any of your actions is called intellect. So you decide. Now you have decided at 11 o'clock there will be a class in Vedanta Society. Now at 10:30 you are thinking, should I go or not? Some phone call has come, some message has come. And then you are thinking, hey, should I attend to this one, or should I go and then come back and attend? You are now in a dilemma. So you are thinking pros and cons, and that is called manas. So manas never decides. The faculty that is thinking of different options is called manas. So you have different options. Yes, But then all these options you judge, and then you recognize, then you find out. Finally, you say, no, let me go to ashram today. You come to a decision and you sit in the car, you drive here. That deciding faculty is called buddhi. So we have got manas, that's chitta, manas and buddhi. And all this behind, there is one factor which is equal to all the three, is what called I conscious. That I am. Who I am. Anybody ask you, immediately you say, I am John. If from down below somebody loudly calls you John, then you will say, hey, coming, you will say. Because that we are identifying that I with that name. Though the name is given perhaps by your parents after 2 months after birth, it doesn't matter. But you are associated with the name. So if you tell me whether Swami Vimokshananda is there, I'll say yes. And this name came to me only at the age of 30. Before 30, I was having some other name, you see. College, etc., some other name. In the house, some other name. So, but the names are changing. But I am go on attaching to that name again and again according to my age. So now I am attaching myself with the Swami Vimokshananda. So if 50 Swamis are there, if somebody raises my name and say, is he present? I will say, yes, I am present. I will say that. Because I am identifying with that name. If some other name you say, Purnananda says, I will not say. So I am not identifying with that name. Actually the name came only at the age of 30. And at the age of 70, still the 40 years I am putting my attachment to that name. So what that I is unchanging. Because the same I had as a child, the same I had as a youth, the same I have now also same. The I never changes. Is it not? When you speak I, that yes, I went there, I go there, I read this book, etc. When you say that I has not changed. Today you said I read a book, and when you were at the age of 8, as a child, you must have read the book. You must have told your mom, I read a book. So that I and this I, is it different? No. So this I, then manas, chitta, buddhi, and these 4 plus that prana shakti, the power to take your breath in and breath out, that power. These 5 items put together is called soul. In English we call it soul. This soul moves out from the body at the time of death. That soul. But behind this soul, there is one more, super I is there. With capital I we write. We call it capital I. It is, Sri Ramakrishna calls it, in Gospel you will find, he calls it the matured I. Matured I. Matured.
Mature.
Oh, the mature eye.
Mature eye. So he call it the mature eye. And say mature fruit, we say.
Right.
A fruit is there, kacha. What do you call it, kacha?
Raw.
Raw fruit. A raw mango is there, and a fully ripened mango is there. So the matured eye is called a ripened ego. So Sri Ramakrishna calls it ripened ego. Otherwise, we all ego, what we ego we have, our ego is unripened, that is unmatured, and it is called what did you say that? Raw. So raw ego and ripened ego, this is it. So the ripened ego is what? The Atman. And that Atman is permanent, it is never disappearing, and that is behind all your actions of body and actions of mind. And that is your spiritual place, your original, who are you, if you want to ask. Then the answer must lead you to this answer. This is the destination. I am Atman. So that's what Vedanta's main philosophy. So now you see, I'm coming to your question. Now the body is changing. Now, since our attachment of the mind with the body and with the false ego, the unripened ego attaching to the body, is the minimum stage of any human being. If you take the first stage of human being, First, 7 stages he said. Is it not?
7
Stages
stages.
he
Yes.
said. Yes, evolution he said.
Yes.
So what is the minimum one? What is the floor? If there are 7 stories, there must be a floor. Is it not? A floor must be there. Then only you can go up and up and up and go to the 7th story. So 7th floor. So what is the minimum ground floor? And that ground floor is the body conscious. So if I cut my finger while working, then I feel pain. So because I am attached to the body. If you are not attached to the body, you will not have any pain at all. There was a Swami in Benares, a great man. He used to serve the patients who are coming to our hospital. We have a big hospital there in Benares. So this time Swami Purnamji went there. So in that hospital he was working. He was considered as a moving Lord Shiva. He was like Shiva. So compassionate to everybody. And the patients will come, poor patients. They will come and say, we want to get bandage put by that Swami. We want to get this boil to be removed by that Swami. Like that you say, that Swami was never cared for his body. And Sri Ramakrishna's disciple, one of his disciples, he went to Benares. And Benares, he had a big carbuncle on the back. And then it was paining. And it has to be cut, when carbuncle becomes matures, then you cut it and remove that pus out of it and then bandage it. Then it becomes healed. So the doctor came and saw. Doctor said, Swami, you have to get admitted to the hospital for this. And there we will take you to the operation theatre and we will cut it. He said, okay. In those days, there is no anesthesia, modern anesthesia. What they will give, the chloroform. In the laboratory, science laboratories, you have chloroform. So that chloroform they will give you. They will ask you to smoke. And then you take and then you forget yourself. So that, and then because you have forgotten your body now, so they will do the operation. So the doctor made him lying on the operation bed. And then he said, now I have to go to cut. Then he brought the chloroform. Swami said, look, don't give me chloroform. But it will be terribly paining. When I cut it, the pus will be taken out, the blood may come out, and then I have to bandage it, I have to clear it, the place, and it will be deep inside. Then I will have to put my knife inside and then cut that root. So it is very painful. He said, no matter what pain it is, don't tell me, I don't want any chloroform. Then he said, what to do? Just before putting your knife on my body, you tell me that you are putting your knife. That's enough for me. And the Swami was lying there. And then the doctor said, Swami, I'm going to put my knife. He announced him. And then he put the knife. No voice, no loud noise from Swami. If the pain comes, what you do? You blurt out. You cry. And there was nothing. And the operation went on smoothly, bandage was made, and after some time he opened his eyes. And now he says, it's paining now, he says. And then he said, what did you do? What is the secret? He said, look, when you told me that you are going to operate it, I withdrew my mind from the body. I completely withdrew. So when I withdrew my mind from the body, it was like merging my mind into God. And in meditation, that's what we do. The purpose of meditation is to take the mind away from the body conscious to a higher conscious. So I have just taken my mind to the God. And then, so the mind was not aware of the body. Whether I have a body or not, I don't know. And you can do whatever you want with the body. It doesn't matter for me. So, in Swami Vivekananda's life, you find, in America, one incident says, he was a guest of a lady. In that house he was staying and she was giving food, etc. and shelter. And then, on that evening, he was about to speak on Atman. Atman, as I told you earlier, is completely different from the body-mind complex. and it is a basis of everything. So you have one Atman, you have one Atman, I have one Atman. Like that, there is no individual Atmans. There is one Atman which is reflecting in each Jiva, that is in each being. So it is reflecting in me, reflecting in you, reflecting in you. That's why the Vedanta gives that all people, not only people, all beings, whether animals or birds or even insects, not only beings, all living things, including trees, rivers, sun, moon, whatever you find in this world that is moving. So everything has got a base in that Atman. So we are all equal. That equality principle, can be derived from this idea that we are all equal and we cannot harm anyone. That's why I tell that on that day in the class I was telling, when Jesus has said, love thy neighbor as thyself, he says. But if you ask any pastor, explain this. Why is it thyself? The pastor will explain to you, look, thyself means yourself. So the yourself, how you love yourself, everybody loves oneself, is it not? So the John loves himself, then I love myself, she loves herself, each one loves each one oneself. That oneself, that what, how much attachment we have, how much love we have, we must put the same love to God. That's what they will say. But the theory behind it, the Vedanta says, no, not that. I have to love you as myself means the same Atman which is within me is within you. We are only outside two persons. We are actually one. There is nothing but one, and that is called Advaita. So the Vedanta says there is nothing but one. There is only one is there, that Atman, which is reflected in different places. The beautiful example given is sun. One sun we see on the sky, and you keep 9 pots of water. In each pot of water you see sun reflected. We are all like that. You are one pot, you are one pot, I am one pot, she is one pot, sun is one pot, moon is one pot, this plant is one pot. So each one is one pot where the Lord, that is which you call, if you are devotional type, you call it Lord. But in Vedanta, you call it as Advaita Vedanta, we call it the Atman. That Atman is reflecting in each one of us. So we are all one. The oneness of beings is an important teaching of Vedanta. That's why it is applicable universally. It is a universal philosophy. Now, I was telling you how the body consciousness can be transcended. So Vivekananda was living with that lady. On that evening, he was to speak on Atman. And when the first floor he was staying, down floor is the hall where he is going to speak. And on the down of that steps, there was a big mirror was there. So Vivekananda had his shower and put on his robes, and then he had his turban, and then he rushed to that mirror and adjusted the mirror and with his turban, and then he looked at that mirror, came away. Now if you go once and come away from the mirror, everybody will understand you have adjusted your topi, like that people think. But Vivekananda again and again going to the mirror, not one time, 2 times, 3 times. So several times he has gone, and that house lady, she has watched. And then the time came, she took him to the hall and he spoke on Atman. And then the lecture was excellent. It is there in Jnana Yoga. If you see the Jnana Yoga book, it is there. It's called, the title of the chapter is Atman, the Atman. Now, after the night, when the lecture was over, so he was taken back he came back to his room. And then she called, Swamiji, the supper is ready, please come to the table. So he came to the table. And she is sitting and some more are people sitting. And Swami Vivekananda is always joyous person, very jolly man. You know, he would make fun of you. He said, why you have not combed your hair like that? He would ask if he was there. I would not ask him, but he would have asked him. So he would make fun of everything. So everybody was jolly people. So people are laughing and laughing at him like that. And then this lady took liberty, said, Swamiji, because he was smiling and talking and jovial, said, Swamiji, may I ask you one question? I said, yes, ask me. She said, I want to know why you are rushing to that mirror before the lecture. And several times you went and looked at you. Were you admiring the handsomeness of your body? You know, he was very handsome. You can see the photographs. So, were you admiring your handsomeness? And Vivekananda was having, you know, the spoon and fork, etc. in his hand, and he was eating. And his hands were up. And from his hands, the spoon fell down, tongue. The fork fell down, another tongue. And his hands just went on the table. And he looked at her, his face completely changed. He was serious. Suddenly, the jovial person, one moment before, has become very serious. And he looked at her. What? What are you talking? Do you know what was the subject of today's talk? She said, Atman. Yes. And when I close my eyes and think of Atman, my mind loses itself in Atman. How I am going to speak to the people? So I have to rush to the mirror and say, hey, you are Vivekananda. Today you have to give a lecture. Don't take your mind up. Like that I am cautioning, I am warning myself. That's why I have to go and make myself feeling that I am attached to my mind and body. I have to bring down the mind to the body level. But normal people, all our mind is on the body level. Maximum time you will find body level. Sometimes it may come to the mental level in the human beings. So the first level is the body level, that's the ground floor. From there we have to raise another 6 floors to reach the 7th floor. So from the body level, you start moving to different levels. And these levels are described in Yoga Sutra, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, where it is very well documented. And in another place in Gospel you will find Sri Ramakrishna explains his experience, how the mind came from one level to another, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level, sixth level, and seventh level. Only seventh level cannot be explained in words, because words fail, because thoughts fail. There is no thought. So how the thought is not there, how you can put it in the word? The word is actually nothing but a physical expression of thought. So thought has to be conveyed to you, means I have to use a word. That is the language system. I am speaking English to you, you understand English. If I speak Tamil to you, you won't understand. So different tongues have come in this word. They are called tongues. Actually, because tongue is speaking, you see. So we are speaking through tongue. So it's called several tongues. English is your mother tongue. Tamil is my mother tongue. Like that. Hindi is his mother tongue. Like that. There's different tongues are there. So the language can come only when the thoughts are there. When the thoughts are not there, where is the language? There is no existence of language. And in the thought level, if thought level itself is a very higher level, and that level also one has to come within these 7 stages, it is there. So there he explains, Ramakrishna, how his mind is raising from one level to another level. So the first level you must understand that what is that? It is our mind getting attached to body, and we live at the body physical level. Not always you don't live at mental level. So you walk to the bus stand, you go to the bus and you walk here, you are not living in mental level. Some fellows you may be seeing in the road when you are driving, so he is not worried about traffic or anything. He is just in a mental level. So he is walking. In the middle of the road he is walking. He is not aware that he is walking in the road because his mind is engrossed in some other thought. So we have experienced, every human being has experienced physical level, when mind is completely on the physical. So physical enjoyments we take, at that time mind comes down to physical level. If I give you a very beautiful ice cream that you love and you are eating ice cream, you can see that, how the mind comes down to the physical level. And we have experienced the mental level also. How do you experience mental level? Suppose you are reading a book and the book is so absorbingly interesting, or you are sitting at the television and you are seeing a Discovery Channel, something very interesting going on. A deer is being caught by a lion, and how the lions are driven out by the buffaloes. All those things, when you see that, you're fully absorbed, and it's very suspense, and you're seeing it. At that time, even a mosquito comes and sits at your feet and bites you, you are not aware of it. You are not aware. A fly comes and sits on your leg. It is sitting there and it is doing like this with its legs, but you are not aware of the touch. Why? Because your mind has been taken away from the physical level to the mental level. Now there is another level also, spiritual level is there. In that spiritual level, when you go, the mental level also is not there. So if I am in a spiritual level, you may speak to me, but it will not, the ears cannot hear, eyes cannot see. At that higher level, the mind does not function. So mind has become empty like. One thought I have, and my whole mind is on one thought. There are no 5, 10 thoughts or 100 thoughts are coming in the mind. So the manas has become ineffective in usage. So mind, there is nothing, and there is nothing to decide also. The intellect also is gone. Because an option comes, then only intellect can come to work. It has to decide, you see. So it requires options. It requires multiple thoughts. Then only the intellect will function. So if there is no multiple thought, if there is only one thought, how the intellect will function? There is no intellect arising. So this is the higher level. The 7 levels are different levels. So in yoga it has been very well explained, the levels. So we can take up some other time the other levels. So today we learned the physical level, which is the basis. From there we have to raise slowly to one level, to another level, to another level. And if you are really a spiritual aspirant and you are practicing some sadhana, practices, then you will yourself will know, slowly you are not fully immersed in the physical level all the time. While taking shower, I may be conscious of my body, but not at other times. While eating, I may be conscious of the body. This is good, this is bad, this is good for me, this I like this. Like that, I am conscious of the body. But not other times. When I am reading a book, when I am going to ashram, say now you are listening to me. So your level has now come out from the physical level and has gone up a higher level. So there are other higher levels, are there 6 more higher levels than the physical level. Those things are explained in our scriptures, and with the example also we can see that. So it's a very beautiful subject. Thank you for this question.
Thank you.